Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This time we're racing in the second round of the Capital Enduro series at Nacke, and I think these are some of the most technical tracks of the year. I had some unbelievable trackside support on the day from teammates, family, friends and dogs. So this was another reason to dig deep and finally put in a performance that I think I've been lacking in the last few weeks. I don't think I've been a million miles off, but I know like on the last few race days something's not been quite right. So with this one, I just put the helmet cam on, I didn't do any vlogging, and I just concentrated on my riding, and I pushed hard. And I think it paid dividends, so stick around to the end to see what happens. Okay, so let's go. Nacke 2, stage 1. I'm avoiding going off the drop at the start and wanted to get some cranks in, so first thing I did, naturally, was smash the cranks on the floor. This little gap here is really technical onto some off-camber rocks with roots. It's one of those that you just kind of brute the bike through, and then pedaling along here, like it's a little bit difficult because it's all off-camber. It rained so much the day before, and then you have like these rocks underneath, and you know there's not much dirt, so you're constantly feeling the edge of the grip. It was a good stage to start the day on, I think, because it had this pedal across the top, so it gave you a bit of time to warm up. None of the other stages really have that, they're kind of straight in. And then coming into here, we taped it slightly differently, so it forced the riders out. You could still get up and take this line in. It got a little bit wild in the rock garden. I actually unclipped with both feet, but kept them in place when they clipped back in just at the end. But this is really awkward. The first rock garden looks gnarlier, but this one's much harder. It's so slippery in here. Then a tight exit out of there. And then this little jump. And then this one was a new ending for the race. And it's quite awkward. A lot of riders struggled there. A lot of riders had to get off and managed to just about sneak around the edge. And then this is really slippery down here. And then into the finish. And that is about as strong a start as I could hope for at any race day. So stage 2, and this was Nacke 4. We taped this one quite differently, and we added a load of corners in the steep section. Unfortunately, the GoPro dies before we get to that section, so sorry about that. Anyone that remembers the video from the race here last year, I had a lot of trouble with the GoPro and missed like 3 stages. This time it was only 1, so hey, hopefully next year it's none. So on this stage I managed to nail another second place. That's 2 in a row, so really happy with my start to the day. Sometimes it's so hard to like judge what level to start at, or at least that's something I struggle with. Stage 3, we decided to pair the hardest pedaling section of the day with probably the scariest, steepest, most technical section of the day. It was pretty interesting. I think this stage actually turned a few people round during practice, and they decided that they didn't fancy the day, which I can totally get because it was not nice. This is a really digging deep section across here. You're kind of mostly going down, but you just feel like you're doing XC on a 170mm travel bike. It's hard work. It was really hard work. But as you can see, the sun was out and the tracks were starting to get better. You really got to punch through this rocky stuff here and really just put the power down. Bounce a little bit wide there, and then just try to get a couple of deep breaths in. Because I knew this next section, you have to put so much power down, but you go so slowly. You can see, like, I'm right over the front wheel. I'm just looking down, just putting the power in, because that GoPro is just staring at the front wheel. And in here, I really felt like I dropped a bit of time in those corners because I'd put so much in on that pedal, I was just spent. And here I was really coasting for a good section of this track. I think at this point I was concentrating on what's coming around this corner. So dropping in here, there's a lot of people watching. I wanted to pop up onto the rock, but just didn't feel it at the last minute, and thought, you know, let's go steady. I actually unclipped, managed to get back in, and then got to here and you're like, okay, right, we're through. That's a bit where your day can get ended. you know, as always, it doesn't look that scary on a GoPro, but I assure you, no one is going flying through that thing. So P4 on that stage, I'll take that. It was tight, it was a tough stage, and it's one of those ones you just want to get through clean. Now, Nacke 3 full, stage 4 as well. I think this is where my race started to go wrong last year. So let's see how it goes. Really hit the pedals hard down this section, and you're pumping and you're pumping and you're going fast, but you know there's this wet off-camber rock that you have to pedal out, and you can hear the back tyre spinning up there. That was tough. Then down here, last year I went up to the right, but this year I came down in here, and I don't know, I think that's maybe something to do with a new bike. I feel a bit more confident with those bigger hits, so I'm taking some slightly different lines. This corner is disgusting, as ever, always has been, always will be. And then here, last year, my chainring skipped, and I went over the bars on that rock. This year, wasn't as bad. My pedal just like clipped out a little bit as I was trying to put the power down. I've since tightened my cleats and it's much nicer, but it didn't really affect the run. So by this point, you're really gassing, you're putting in max effort, and then here, oh, it looks painfully slow when you watch it like this, but it's so steep and it's so wet. Okay, so you're through the steep section, and that's it. Then you can just go right, empty the tank, hit the power, really just floor it. So I'm gassing it and kind of like taking some bush lines, which I've not taken before, and bang, down we go. You just see the back just like caught on a root or a rock, and it was just gone like straight away. And then here, I'd hit my arm pretty hard, and I wasn't sure how much pain I was in, but I wanted to keep riding, so rode this section, but much slower than I would usually ride it. But at this point, it was just like trying to salvage the run. Still managed to hold on to 4th place, but quite a big chunk back. At this point, I was like, okay, you're not too hurt, or it hurts a little bit, but you can still ride. You've not thrown away the day. Everyone's going to crash. Get your head together. Get back on your bike. So this is one of the stages I didn't record last year, and was one of my better stages on the day. I knew I could have a strong run on this stage. I like it. It's steep, and I think I'm coming around to the idea that I'm probably stronger in wet, steep, awkward terrain. That's my jam, I think. Never thought it would be, but here we are. So I was trying to attack this quite hard, and it's similar to 4, where you've got this like tight corner out of the rocks, and this was so disgusting. It felt really quick in my head for this bit, but again, you look at it and it's a bit slow. But this rock is steep and that catch is small. You're really wrestling it. There was another line around the tree around the back, but I just knew if you did that, you'd drop so much time. So it really is a short, punchy track. This bit is rebuilt in the last year after a landslide. Then they put this like jump, and you kind of like hop out to the right and in here, but it's so steep. So it's short, but it's just aggressive, and then in there, and I knew I'd done as much as I could on that stage. I was really happy with that one. Okay, 1.5 into forum. Now this one is the swap of what we did on stage 3. So you've got the most ridden top section, and then into a sort of fresh steep part, which was really tricky in the morning. It got better as the day went on, but this bit's super nice. You can get up some good speed here, but there's a like punchy wet uphill. As always, I take the inside on that. Never gone the other side of that tree before. That was a race run special. Yeah. But in here, you're coming in hot. That's a big drop in there, and it's rough, man. So you're just trying to kind of push, but save yourself, because you know here you got to drop down a couple of gears and just floor it. Try to get out to the right to get onto the grass a little bit, and you're just pushing and pushing and pushing up here. But the tracks change. Usually you go straight on and go down the ravine, but now we've got this sharp left, This little rock wall ride that I've been slipping down every time, but this time I've got it a bit better. And I decided to come over to the left onto this moss so you can control your entry speed in here. And then manage to hook up to the left there to get that nice line out. If you drop down to the right, you're really in trouble. And at that point I was like, yeah, cool, let's go. And you're just like pedaling and pedaling. Not really concentrating on what's going on, just pedaling hard. And then the support crew were on their way up the track, but we got there. I'm really happy with that stage. I've really pushed on it and I couldn't have done any more. Really starting to feel all these short, high intensity efforts that you've been putting in all day. Here we are, stage 7, Tom's line. Quick side note, absolutely stoked for Dennis. He had a really solid day in conditions that he doesn't like, on tracks that he struggles to race on, and in flats. I was really stoked for him, really proud of him, because he's been trying a lot of different things, and I think this was just a really strong showing from him. So Tom's line is probably my favourite track on this hill, and when we raced here in 2020, I was actually joint fastest on this track, and it's the only time I can say I've been fastest man on the hill / joint fastest man on the hill on any stage ever. So buzzing off that. But I knew I could, like from that, I knew I could challenge on this one. So I was just going for it. I knew I'd had a good day, confidence was high. I wasn't going to do anything reckless, but I wasn't going to just tinkle through it. You got to really hold the high line on that rock, and that section, I'm so happy with that. It's really tough. There's a lot of lines to choose from, but if you can nail that one, it works so well. And down here, this right is really awkward. But I never usually take this, but I could tuck inside that rock, so that was a new one for me. And then in here, this log that the tape is on, my back went up that a bit, and I had to like hop it off. And it's a super awkward drop. But your approach angle for this ending is much better this time, so you can get through there a lot cleaner. But this has got a lot more cut up through the day, but it's definitely cleaner than the first run. And there it is. So 3 seconds back on that stage, which is the closest I got all day, and P3. So yeah, that's Roger who organises it, and a couple of the other riders. Nicholas was there. Good. So let's see how we got on, eh? It was a good day. I love racing there. I just think it's the best tracks around. Of course, we got the absolute classic support crew of Pig and Alice. Bop. Then the junior results. Peter coming in 3rd place. He's the lad I was talking to in Basby and in Fallon. Stoked for him to do that, because I know how nervous he was at the start of that day. Also riding an old school mullet setup, 650B to 26 inch. What a legend. Congrats to Ella as well. She's only 13 years old and the only woman on course with a time that would have put her in like 20th out of 30 riders on the day. Took some huge slams and just kept going. Fair play. It was cool podium chasing again, for a reason.
Men då vill jag ha upp Westblad, Elofsson och Barksson. Yeah, man!
Teammate Victor Lawson bringing the stake there.
Ollie. Westblad. Och absolut snabbast emellan sträckorna i alla fall. Men även ner för sträckorna. Jag får ju skaffa någonting.
I've been putting in a lot of work this year, and a lot of riding and a lot of racing. I've been fully committed to it, and these are the things. It's only a local race, but for me it's a dream to get on that podium, and you can't have it as a goal because there's things that are out of your control, but achieve something that I've been working to achieve all season. It leaves me in 2nd place in the overall, and now the dreams are big, so stick around for the ride. Let's see if we can do it.
Does that mean we can have a beer tonight?
Yes, we start.